So another trip to the dollar store, picked up three more, two same size ones and one bigger one to see how that worked. These ones were, what were they? They were $3.25 a piece, and the big one was $4.25 a piece. So much for a dollar store. That's fine in the end. So all the stuff that was in here is now in here. Again, I'm trying it. I'm gonna try it with light gray next, which means I'm gonna have to make a decision pretty quick which size I'm gonna go with, the small ones or the large one. The large one does hold more. I'm finding it does hold lots more. It holds bigger pieces better. I think the actual widths are bigger. I got the pile of, yeah, so it's about half a centimeter, quarter of an inch bigger. Same thickness, exactly the same thickness, but obviously wider, obviously deeper, and so it does hold more. I got the bigger pieces in here that I didn't bother sorting into the smaller pieces, the smaller bins. All my chairs are there. It takes up, one full row and a half a row in the next one. The thing about this is it doesn't fit on my shelves nicely because it is too long and it's too wide. These ones are next to perfect. These ones are next perfect. So they're exactly the same width as my bins. So I can take a bin out, this one comes out, and these ones go in the bin place. And they are the same height, three of them, as one bin. They're just slightly shorter. I mean, if they could make them like, 5 centimeters longer, would have been perfect. But c'est la vie. So I'm still testing this. And again, I do have space on my shelves. My issue for me, and because I am fundamentally lazy and I don't have a lot of time, this is going to impact my sorting. Obviously, it's going to make my sorting longer because modified plates for one specific color always went into my modified plate bin. That was it. That was the end of my sorting. Now you have to do it specifically by function. But in the end, I'll be able to find the pieces a lot easier now. Just knock that off, whatever that was. My Lego magnet. Be able to find pieces easier now on the blue anyway. And I have to figure out how to get rid of the stickers on top because they're just a pain in the butt. And I find there's a lot more air volume wasted on these guys than there was with this bin, right? So this bin is the same size as these three, right? But you add this one onto it, all of a sudden this does take up more space on the shelf than this guy, right? So it is gonna impact my shelving space. I'm gonna have to allocate more space per these guys than it does with the one bin, but it's gonna cut down on this looking for and searching for later. Now, and this is just modified plates. It's got a modified bricks and the round and the blah blah blahs and the yada yadas. And then trying to keep it straight as to what is where. I basically went from smallest to biggest. I tried, quote unquote, to go from smallest to biggest. 1x1s, starting off with then 1x2s, and then 2x2s, and then 2 whatever, and then blah blah, kept on going. And also, the chairs had to be in a different spot because there's so many of them. So it's not a consistent organization sorting yet. So what happens with the blue is probably not going to be the same storage I guess method as the black was going to be, or the gray is going to be. It's going to depend on parts, the number of parts I have per specific function. I don't know. I'm going to try it. I got to figure out how to get this big one onto the shelf because again, there's not space for it, right? So it is what it is. We are talking right now. Josh is talking about moving his bedroom down here, which means the Lego room would move upstairs, and I was probably going to build some quote-unquote custom shelves from scratch, because the building bookcases have been working fine, but in the and they do hold, as you can see, from one side of the building bookcase to the other side of these things perfectly. But I have to stack 3, so I have to pull these 2 off to get access to that one, and to get more shelves takes up more space and blah blah blah. And of course you can see the dip in the shelves because the shelves can't hold this much Lego. So they do have a tendency of dipping down. So I was thinking about building some custom bookshelves that are basically, each shelf is just slightly higher than this, and so that you could just pull one out, make it as nice as possible. But you know, how much effort is that going to take? I mean, I'm ruminating, I'm thinking about it, and I wouldn't mind, even if I stay down here to redo all this shelving a little better. This was kind of ad hoc, and I wanted to make it a nicer, more pleasant, more pleasing room to hang out in, and for other people, because right now basically only I and Josh can fit in here at the same time, and mostly it's just me. And when you start building, the bins end up on the floor just like that, because you're building around here. I did get rid of the one desk that was over here because I needed more shelving. So there are plenty of ideas, plenty of things I want to do. Not enough time, not enough space, not enough money. So one thing we have talked about is removing the wall that we put up to separate the Lego room from the rest of the rec room, and then just kind of building the walls all the way through the rec room to store Lego on it. But again, I don't want the Lego taking over the house. Which brings back the next point of getting rid of Lego, somehow getting it justified and without, excuse me, without a lot of effort, getting rid of bricks somehow to downsize, so I won't need as much space for Lego. Because again, this is the hobby, especially for me, where 99.999% of the pieces I'm not going to use, but I just don't know what pieces those will be. And trying to figure out what I'm going to downsize has always been difficult for me. It's still a thought in my head that I want to try to do something, but again, without the time and the resources to do so, you know, I might have to wait 4.5 years. So we'll see what happens then. But in the interim, I'm going to keep on puttering with this idea. Thanks, Jeff. And see how it works. See how much I like it. I might do modified bricks next. To sort out the blue modified bricks. But I think that's going to be about it. The 45-degree slopes I've never had an issue with. 33-degree slopes I've never had an issue with, because I got millions. The miscellaneous slopes I might sort out a little bit, because trying to find the unique or the very, very rare slopes out of that is always proven to be difficult. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to make a determination what I'm actually gonna sort out from these bins into these bins. Right now, modified plates for sure. I think the next step is gonna be modified bricks. I'm also going to combine, when I start doing this, I mean, when they're the small pieces, it's great for here. The big pieces can end up on one of these things here. So like the large modified bricks, I don't have to find in here, and so I might start combining the larger pieces, the burps, the big panels and whatever, into here, because those are usually easier to sort through, and all the smaller pieces, whatever function and or form, will be sorted into those. So that's planned, except for, again, the regular bricks. The 1x1s, 1x3s will stay in the bin they're in. The 1x2s will stay in the bin they're in. The regular plates, 1x, 2x, 4x, and 6x will stay in their relative big bins. I'm not going to worry about those, as I say, even with the slopes, the 45s and the 33s, I'm not going to worry about. The DWFS, the doors, windows, fences, and shutters, I'm not going to worry about at this time, because again, first of all, I don't build with lots of them. In fact, I have lots of them and I can find them pretty easy. I'm just trying to cut down on the parts and pieces that I can't find easy when I'm trying to pull pieces for a build. And I think Jeff's solution, and it's not just Jeff's solution, but it's Jeff's the one that I've seen really run with it and do it the best thus far. Jeff's solution is the one I'm running with, and I'm thinking it's going to work out just fine for specific functions, the smaller pieces that, especially on the, like, there are a few modified plates. I only have 2 or 3 of a specific type, and they're always hard to find inside a big bin like this. And so now that I have done this, the smaller modified plates that I only have 1, 2, or 5 of, I can find them easy because they're in here and they're all by themselves, so I can see them. So I'm really liking that idea. And so that should help me be able to find the rarer pieces better, and that's what this is for, because I've always had a difficult time. I may start doing the trans red and the trans yellow, because again, right now all my trans reds are in that bin. Now the big pieces are in a Ziploc in the top of that. I'm looking there. Sorry, I'm looking at the thing. Trans red there. But the smaller pieces, there are some semi-rare pieces in there that I have to go searching through the whole bin to find every time I want to pull one out. So I might parse those ones out. I'll have to see how much effort that's going to take. And the trans orange I have to do, because I got trans orange and trans neon orange mixed together, which drives me crazy. So I'm going to get a few more, and I'm thinking it's going to be this one, because again, I'm going to have a tough time fitting this one onto the shelf because it doesn't fit the scale of this guy. I just wish these things were just one section longer. It would have been perfect. That would have been absolutely perfect. But anyway, there you go. A nice quick video. This has been a little bit, it's been a couple days since I created a video down here. And I had to clean off my desktop because my desktop had these other pieces sitting there in piles, and I didn't want to build anything until I got those piles out of there, and I didn't want to mix them back into the container. So there you go. It's progress. I am more sorted today than I was yesterday, and that makes me happy. Sorting is not my focus, but I like it when I leave the Lego room and I'm more sorted than I was a minute before I came into the Lego room. That gives me a little sense of accomplishment, a little sense of making my life easier. Just like every other project that people start, it's always, oh, for crying out loud. When you start a project, it's always, it's hard to start a project considering the scope of the project when it's something like this. But the second you when you actually start working on it, instead of just thinking about it, it's amazing how fast that went. So I'm happy about that. And I've said this before a few times. My collection as it is very conducive. It's very, very easy to adapt my collection and my sorting methods that I have already to the Jeff Van Winden School of Sorting, because I just have to grab one bin and sort it out. And I like that. I've watched tons of, we all have as Lego fans, we've all watched tons of sorting videos and how people sort their collections. And I say, oh, I could do that relatively easy. Oh, I could do that relatively easy. The one I will not do, and I've talked about this last time, the one I will not do is sort by function and mix in the colors, mix all the colors of one function. I ain't gonna do it. And again, I to do that, like this, for example, is pull this one up here. Let's shut this off, but I got my 2x2 plate with round top on it with hole. With the black and yellow and the red, possibly white, I would fill up half of this thing. And then you're searching through that. Well, not searching, because you can see the blue ones, and you can see the white ones, and you can see the red ones. But I'm going to be building with that. I'm going to be building with that. I'm going to be building with those. I'm going to be building with those, definitely. Right? And so this is on my desk now. And I keep on saying that. This is now on my desk. I don't have 1, 2, 3, 4 different ones of these with the one solid, all the various colors and the one function. No, I honestly think sorting by function is for people who have a moderately big collection. By moderately big mean, I mean half the size of mine. At least half the size of mine. If you're at the halfway mark to what I have in this room, sorting by function is not going to get you anywhere. It's going to be a disaster, I find. And again, to be very clear and honest about that, like my Technic axle pins are, you know, they're in the blue and the tan, are in one, in the gray and the black are in the other one, and those are like I didn't sort out by color on those guys, the bushings and all that stuff, and the axles. I didn't, because I don't care, right? When I'm building a Technic thing, I usually just go for black anyway, find the black axles. But I don't. It didn't matter to me that I sorted by function. All six long axles are there: red, gray, white, and black. They're all in the same one. That didn't bother me. And this is the nuance of sorting, right? And I'll show you this guy. This guy's always shows up. It's the half pins, and even the quarter pins. So the half pins, and so there's a pin with stud on top, and then there's the pin with the half pin on top. They're all in here, all the colors, all the different functions of those two, the half pin and the stud on top. They're all in here, and I don't mind that because it doesn't bother me. Now, what does bother me sometimes is that when I'm looking for an old gray one versus a new gray one. But I know, again, my friend Jeff inspired me because he said he sorted all his out between old gray and new gray, and I think that's great. And if I get to the point where that becomes something I want to do, I will absolutely do it. Right now, it doesn't bother me. And so there is nuance to my sort by color and then my function. What else do I do that way for? Not too much. Just the Technic pieces are all that way. You can see this bin here. It's all colored. I mean, it's all one function or a variety of functions, and all the colors are mixed up. Obviously, the pneumatics. So you look down here, everything's a bit of a mess down here. But other than Technic, but even the bricks themselves are sorted out by color. There's my blue Technic bin that has my for blue, all my bricks and studless beams and blah blah blah. They're all in here. Half beams and blah blah blah. Whereas black, this is 1 by 1 to 1 by 4. Oh, sorry, this is just a half size. This is 1 by 6 to 1 by 14. This is 1 by 1 to 1 by 4, and this is all my 1 by 16s. These are my studless without curves in it, and this is my studless with curves in it. You know, because I got enough that I can sort out. I filled them in and then you subsort. That's how I do things. Whereas blue, because I use blue a lot, that whole bin is my blue and that whole bin is my red, and then they got the yellow and black underneath there. Yellow and white underneath there, right? So as soon as one of those fills up, I'll start a second bin because it doesn't matter too much. But I did sort out Technic separately from the rest of the collection because back in the day, I used to build robots and I used to love Technic. Well, I still love Technic, but I used to build robots, and it was good to have all my Technic pieces together in spite of color. But again, as you can see, I still sort by color and then by function in the Technic when it comes to the beams and studless beams and half beams. Whereas the gears and the axles and all those small miscellaneous pieces, there's millions of them, so I don't care. At one point, I was honestly thinking about taking that thing and breaking it up into smaller sets with the colors, but I don't do it enough. If I got hardcore back in the Technic building, I would probably sort that out in the color. But I don't, so I don't worry about it. So when I say sort by color and then by function, there is nuance there. It depends on how much stuff you have. It depends on how many bricks you have. It depends on how many modified plates you have. If I had 12 modified plates of ladders and 12 modified plates of jumper plates and 12 modified plates of whatever of each color, of course I would sort by function because I have 12 of them. But when I have 144 chairs, blue, I don't want to go like and they're here, everything I need for here, because I build in blue. Again, you build in color palettes, you don't build in function palettes. It does make my life easier, and in the grand scheme of things, it does. It really does. Now, if you're bricklinking and you're running a bricklinking store, or if you're rebuilding sets, I can absolutely see sorting by function before you sort by color, because you're going back there into your collection, and you're grabbing the specific pieces you need, and you want to find them as fast as possible. If you're building a preordained set of where you know the pieces you're going to grab, and you know that, so it's easier to sort by function and then by color in that specific aspect, especially if your collection's a lot smaller than this one. And so there is a time and place for sorting by function over color. But I said over the years, as I said over the years, for me. And again, my again, straight up, my Lego collection is antiquated, shall we say. It doesn't have a lot of the newer pieces in it. As I say, all my newer colors and newer pieces are not even sorted, really. So again, I don't care about them. When I start getting into sorting those things out, I may absolutely sort by function before color, because I don't build with them a lot, and it'll save space in the collection, I think. I don't know. It is a project that I have to do, is to sort my non-standard classic colors into their various constituencies. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, and there's no rush for me to do it, so I haven't got around to doing it yet. So, but it is on the schedule. It's on the sked, as they say, to do, because I want to get it done, and I also want to clean up my room a lot, because it's getting a little frumpy again. But there we are. This project is done as it is. I don't think we need to do any more videos except for quick update videos when I do the light gray and stuff like that, because I think it'd be interesting to see what I have. Because even I don't know what I have in light gray. It's light old gray, by the way. I'm not saying light plate. My light old gray collection, modified plates, is astoundingly, my euphemism is astoundingly stupid, stupidly huge, and that only comes from collecting all these years. But anyway, I'm not going to bore you anymore. This has already gone 22 minutes. That's it. That's all. Everybody stay safe. Take care. I'll keep you posted. My friend Jeff's down there at Atlanta doing this Lego show down there with all our friends. I'm happy he's down there. I wish I was, but it's not in the cards just yet. But hopefully soon I will get down there and hang out with my good friends down there. But in the interim, everybody stay safe, stay healthy, be true to yourself, be kind to yourself, all those other pithy comments that people like to use, but they are actually, there's a granular of truth to them. Be good to yourself, and I'll talk to you soon.